All right, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there? Apologize for being late. A couple of minutes. Had to make sure everything was right. And we're ready to go. I want to thank y'all once again for stepping in the dungeon. So much to talk about. I don't have to promote it. You guys have also enjoyed what I think is a big-time sports weekend for sports fans in general. But definitely for sports fans in Northern California, 49er fans. I can't say I'm definitely not a Dallas Cowboys fan, but I am a Dak fan. And I am thoroughly disappointed in what I saw tonight from Dallas's perspective as a team, but also from Dak. And I'm starting to question whether or not he can ever get it done in Dallas based off that performance, because when I look at Dak, I don't know if Dak is the type of player at this point who's going to take a bunch of really, really good players over the top to become great players and ultimately win. I don't know if he's that guy. I think he is one of the guys. He's shown that he can do that. And the other thing that I noticed tonight, and you can comment on this. By the way, my name is Frank Red. This is In the Dungeon program. Thanks for checking this out. The one thing I noticed about Dak tonight is, like, remember when Tom Brady played for the New England Patriots or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Literally, his wide receivers would walk through a burning building to catch a football that he threw in the building. They would, no question, they would do whatever they needed to do to catch the ball. And if they didn't catch the ball, he would really give it to them. And I remember meeting Tom Brady in high school, and he was always that competitive type of guy. I think Dak Prescott, to be honest with you, because I know that fire burns within him, I think he needs to really, really express himself in a way that lets his teammates know that, hey, we're all in this together. You know what I'm saying? And that, not the third interception, but the second interception that he threw, the wide receiver really didn't even fight for the ball. Didn't even fight for it. The 49er DB made a good play on the ball. But that was basically a hand fight. That's what that was. That was a hand fight. And I just don't see the Dallas Cowboys selling out for Dak in ways that I think that they should be doing, particularly if he's that guy. And I don't get the sense that maybe they believe he's that guy. I've been saying for years, the Dallas Cowboys do not have a number one wide receiver. They don't. They have a bunch of guys who are pretty good. CeeDee Lamb is a good player. But even at Oklahoma, he wasn't better than Hollywood Brown. He wasn't. He's a good player, not a great player. So it pisses me off because I don't think that Dak quite has the weapons that some of his contemporaries have. I made some comments about Brock Purdy saying that he can run the offense. He was good. He throws too tight windows. No, listen. Brock Purdy tonight, and I'm glad that I'm slow on board. I don't believe any hype. You know, I come from the Chuck D school. Don't believe the hype. Let me see it. Guess what? I saw it tonight. Brock Purdy looked like a Super Bowl MVP tonight. He did. I wanted to see him get heated up, right? And early on, before the 49ers made some adjustments, they were heating Brock Purdy up, and he wasn't quite as accurate. But guess what? He got better over time. They made a couple of line adjustments, obviously at halftime. When he came back in the third quarter, he was lights out. He looked like the best player on the field, in the stadium. He looked like an MVP. I got to give it up to him. Now, they go to Cleveland next week, and Cleveland's going to present another challenge for him that he hasn't seen. Going up against the most dominant pass rusher in the NFL, in my opinion. We don't know how the weather's going to be, but there will be some adversity. Cleveland has great DBs also. Those windows probably won't be as big. The wide receivers will probably be hit more. But I have no reservation about Brock Purdy. I don't. I hope he doesn't get hurt. But in terms of playing the quarterback position, yo, man, he limited the Dallas defense tonight. Michael Parsons really talented, but he talks a lot. And I come from a school where let your play do your talking for you. I don't see Garner, Greenbolt. I don't see those guys talking during the week. I see them answering questions, but they're not outwardly making statements riling up the opposition. I mean, I see that from Dallas. It's like, yo, enough is enough. Enough is enough. I'm still a Dak guy, but he got to play better. The 49ers watch film too. They run the West Coast offense, some variations. Every time Dak thought that he had a big window to the out, the linebacker didn't give it away, but he dropped and kept his shoulders square and was either able to tip the ball or intercept it because they go through film study. Very happy to see the 49ers distinguish themselves as, I think, they're the best team in football. Even Philly. Philly's really good. Philly's really talented, and I would love to see that matchup. But right now, the 49ers look like the best team in football. They really do. So I want to big them up for that. No doubt about that. You got any comments? Feel free to jump in here. Vicky says, hi, Frank. Nebraska played okay. We will see what happens for the rest of the year for them. The 49ers played a complete game. Domination. Colorado is an exciting team. No give up. Just like their coach. Yeah, you know what? I love Deion Sanders' press conferences because he be spitting fire, man. And like I said in my last broadcast, I knew Arizona State was going to really come out and play hard because that's their Super Bowl. Everybody who plays against Colorado now, as strange as that might sound, a team that was 1-7, 1-11 last year, is on everybody's hit list. Arizona State sold out that stadium. When's the last time they sold that stadium out? So these young guys have to understand that, hey, people are trying to beat us. They don't want us to win. I thought that they would win even when they were down because they were a better team and they got a pro quarterback. If you have a pro quarterback in college, more times than not, you're going to get some W's. What's shocking to me is, and Shador alluded to this after the first game, how could Shador Sanders be a 3-star recruit? Maybe he was a 4-star in some circles. He wasn't a 5-star. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in all of college football. He's poised beyond his years. They're lucky that they have him. No doubt about that. No doubt. So you want to talk about college? I'm going to get into some college football as well. Notre Dame's loss to Louisville can't happen. That was a terrible loss. And it's magnified when it's Notre Dame and you're a black coach. It just is. It's magnified. Now, they need to show up against USC next week. And more than show up, actually beat them. Win a game that they're not supposed to win. Because that was a bad loss to Louisville. 33-20 at home? Come on, man. I actually went to the Cal game last night against Oregon State. And entertaining game, a lot of points. Got a chance to see the kid DJ Undule. a former Clemson quarterback out of Los Angeles. He's looking a shot at the NFL. He's big. I think Clemson probably wish they had stuck with him because he can play. And he's really uplifted that Oregon State program. He has to work on his accuracy some, but he's a talented guy. And Oregon State's a good football team. Excuse me. Came home last night and watched the tape delay of the Golden State Warriors play. And I made sure that I didn't see the score. And the one thing about the NBA, unlike other sports, is the NBA preseason looks a lot like regular season. So, in the NFL, the starters generally don't play into the last preseason game. In the NBA, that's just not the case. From the start, these guys are so competitive that they want to show what they can do right away. And was very, very impressed with Jonathan Kuminga. Not just because he scored 24 points. I mean, it's the preseason. But what was impressive about Kuminga is his disposition on the court, his physicality. He's working on his body. He's a lot stronger now. And he might be even a little taller. And he shot the three confidently. So if Jonathan Kuminga can be a player that the Warriors really haven't seen, he's going to help them quite a bit. Moses Moody also played well. For everybody who was questioning whether or not Chris Paul would be able to fit into the Warriors organization based on their style and culture and so on and so forth, I think you got a real quick glimpse last night. It's not going to be a problem. This guy's a straight baller. He's in tremendous shape. He and Steph have known each other since Steph was a teenager, so they have a relationship there. And the consensus is the Golden State Warriors would win 47 to 48 games. I think they're going to win probably somewhere between 49 and 51 and be the third or fourth seed. But aesthetically, they're going to look a lot different this year. I think a lot more free-flowing, a lot less mistakes. I was surprised they had 19 turnovers last night, but that was because they had a lot of young guys in there. I think their turnovers are going to go down probably anywhere from 3 to 4 per game. They were number one in assists last year at 30 per game. I think that they'll probably average around 29, 30 again. So, Warrior fans, and I'm a strong Warrior supporter, have a lot to be excited about because they got a really, really good team. Dario Saric, I thought looked really good last night. And the guy who I was most interested in seeing play was Rudy Gay. Not because he made a lot of shots. We know he can make shots, right? That's what he does. But I wanted to see physically if he could move, if he still looked like he was a professional athlete. And he still looks like he has something in the tank. So that's going to be a big deal for the Warriors. It really is. Because he's like found money. Wow. Vicky, you stepping out there. The Warriors played beautiful basketball. You think they're going to win 60 games? Wow. That would be pretty incredible. I don't see them winning 60. I see them winning over 50. I think the league is too good. Maybe I'm wrong. I was happy to see Anthony Davis looked pretty good too. He did. I mean, in limited minutes, Anthony Davis looked good. D'Angelo Russell looked good. The Lakers are going to be tough. So I'm looking forward to all of those battles. Maybe I'll check one out live. But I love watching it on television. It's kind of cool. Look at some of these names out here. And It's Mac. What's up, brother? Yeah, so the NBA is right around the corner. Steve Kerr looks real comfortable and happy, and I think a lot of it just because he has more pieces to play with. We can talk about the NBA if you want to. I've seen enough now to kind of make some notes on my preview of the Golden State Warriors, which I'm going to put up on my channel in a couple of days. But I've done the research, and you can ask any question about the team, and I can give you an answer. I love their depth. Even people might get excited about Brandon Podzinski, the rookie out of Santa Clara. I don't see him playing a lot this year. I was happy to see him get on the court last night and not look scared. The young man has a lot of confidence. He's smart, and he plays hard. And I think that's a great foundation for him to build on. But skill-wise, he has a long way to go. That floater that he talks about, that he used in college, is going to be thrown in his face. What he needs to do, when he gets in the lane, he needs to shoot a floater with his right hand, not his strong hand. He needs to have some type of element of surprise because he doesn't elevate. He's not a high-flying guy. So he's going to have to be kind of even like a Steph Curry. Steph Curry's one of the best finishers in the NBA, but he's not a high flyer. So he has all of these trick-type shots and releases. I think Brandon is going to have to work on that aspect of his game. And he'll get an opportunity to do that definitely this year in the G League. So good for him. Everything is fair game for the NBA. We'll talk about that. The Pittsburgh Steelers are amazing to me. I mean, Pittsburgh looks bad when they win. And I'm a Mike Tomlin guy. There's no way Pittsburgh should have beat Baltimore today. Baltimore just beat them up and down the field. And we all knew that all things Pittsburgh wanted to do was stay close. That's all they wanted to do. Stay close, and in the end, they find a way to win. And that's I think it just speaks really to Mike Tomlin's greatness as a coach. The only thing he does is win. And good for them. So when I thought about doing this show tonight, following the 49ers thrashing of the Cowboys, 42-10, Kittle having 3 touchdowns, Purdy just going crazy. I thought about the show. I was like, well, what do people want to hear? There's a lot of 49er fans out there. I mean, I don't like to really be on shows or either do shows where everything is about patting somebody on the back and talking about how great they are, because I'm not really a fan. I've never been a fan. I respect professional athletes, but I didn't play pro sports, but I was a really good athlete, right? So I subscribe to the Belichick philosophy. Just do your job, man. Just do your job. But fans are not like that. I love fans, but I like fans that come in that can talk football, that can talk basketball, that can strategize, that can take alternative take. Not just, wow, Brock Purdy's great. Oh, this guy's great. That's not interesting to me, So I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? I'm trying to really provide an alternative to that, because there's a lot of shows out there that bring it on. I mean, the hosts are more giddy and more backslapping than people who call in, than the quote fans. You expect some fans to do that if they don't follow it, but if you follow the sport, have a take. Have something insightful to say. Those are the types of shows that I love. All right, Brian, what a win for the Niners. If everyone saw this coming, you're delusional. No one saw this coming. No, I didn't. And, Brian, it's interesting. You're just jumping in here now But what I said was, I talked about Brock Purdy in a complimentary way, and I said that he's putting in a great offense. He can read defenses and throw through windows. He can do all of that, but I had to give it up to him tonight. Tonight, Brock Purdy looked like a star. He looked like a dude tonight. He looked like he's going to be the person they're asking, what are you going to do tomorrow? I'm going to Disneyland. That's how he played tonight. He threw the ball tight windows. He threw the ball 20-plus yards down the field. He threw the ball when he had pressure in his face. He did everything he needed to do tonight. He looked like a star. And I had not seen that from him before. Because the first two quarters, the first quarter and a half, Cowboys were heating him up. And he was, I wouldn't say he was rattled, but he was off his mark a little bit. When he got back on his mark, man, that dude was just balling. He looks like, a top 10 pick? Top 5? Doing that draft over again? Forget about Mr. Irrelevant. Stop talking about it. Stop saying it, because it doesn't make any sense. This dude is a big-time quarterback, and he proved that tonight. So, Aussie Rules, what's up? Is that Dak? I can't see. Dan getting crushed. Oh yeah. And, yeah, you know what? And I'm gonna ride with Dak, man. Because like I said before, the second interception that Dak had when Michael Gold, the wide receiver, he allowed the 49ers DB to hand fight him and basically take the football away from him. He had every right for that ball. It was like last year in the playoffs. Worst case scenario, if a DB is jumping in front of me, I'm going to tackle the guy before he can even catch it. That was terrible, man. Diggs would have caught that ball. On Buffalo, that ball was up for grabs. So, yeah, you can blame Dak all you want. And Dak played horrible. Because mentally, he wasn't focused. And he lived with bad plays. And that's not the characteristic of a great quarterback. I don't know if Dak is a great quarterback right now. He's a good quarterback. Maybe he is the guy that needs to play with such a great team that he can win with them. Because he doesn't appear to be the guy who's going to take very good players to the next level. But I'm not happy with his wide receivers. I like his tight ends, but CeeDee Lamb he looks like a third receiver to me. He's not even the best number 2 receivers in the league. He's not as good as Waddle. No way. He's not as good as Cooper Kupp. No way. Not to me. I'm disappointed. He's playing like a top 10 quarterback in the league, no doubt. It's so nice to watch a competent quarterback lead his offense. Yeah, man. I would say he's even higher than that. Atlanta Falcons will win the NFC South. You know what? Maybe. Not a great division, obviously. The most talented team right now, I think you would have to say is New Orleans. They're the most complete team. But Atlanta has a great running game. The quarterback, as long as he doesn't throw it away, they have a pretty good chance. Tampa Bay, that division winner is going to win probably 10 games, maybe 11, no more than that. So making a statement that Atlanta can win is not out of bounds. It really isn't. Mark Gray says the 49ers were faster and stronger than the Cowboys tonight, and Purdy is the guy. Absolutely. Let me say something else. smart. And as an athlete and as a coach, here's the thing that really got under my skin. The 49ers were the more mentally tough team, and they were clearly smarter. At the professional level, that's all you have. Everybody's good. The 49ers looked like a masterclass in football tonight. And the Dallas Cowboys looked like a team that's going to make the playoffs and lose in the first round. Their defense, their great defensive players often found themselves out of position. The defensive linemen were on their heels, just getting run over by the 49ers offensive linemen. Now, here's the thing about the 49ers offensive line, too. It isn't like the Pittsburgh offensive line of years ago that have been together for a decade. No, the 49ers lose offensive linemen like everybody else. Players get injured like everybody else. They sub guys in, they replace guys, and it's all good. It doesn't stop. The mainstay is Trent Williams, obviously a future Hall of Famer, but up and down that line, those guys are balling, man. And no, McCaffrey didn't have 100 yards tonight, but he was just as effective. That was total domination. Dan getting crushed in Cowboys. No, I think you mean Dak, right? Aussie rules, you mean Dak, right? Makes me want to send Dak to New England, man. You might say, wait a minute, Red. If he can't run the Dallas offense, which is not all that sophisticated once you learn it, how is he going to learn a hyper-sophisticated offense like they have in New England? You might be right. And my rebuttal to that would be, that's the problem with some of these teams. They want to fit players into what they do schematically, as opposed to looking at the talent of a player and saying, you know what? How can I devise an offensive attack to fit this player's talent? Teams that are really successful do that. And New England had a perfect match with Brady for a long period of time. Mac Jones is not the guy who's going to do that. And I don't even know if he's a great player. I mean, he's probably not a great player. You know? He's not athletic. He's smart. When his confidence is high, he can play effective football. But he's overwhelmed right now. He really is. Dak Prescott would be an upgrade. And I don't think, like you hear somebody like Jerry Jones' comment, I don't think they want to pay Dak. They don't. They're not in love with Dak. Not the football player. They might be enamored or impressed with Dak the person, but not the football player. And I'm torn because the mistakes that he makes, he should not be making those mistakes at this stage of his career. The picks that he had tonight in the second half were just ridiculous. But I don't see his teammates fighting for him. And that really concerns me. It upsets me. If you can't fight for Dak, who are you going to fight for? I don't see his receivers selling out. I don't, man. I don't. The New York Jets beat the Broncos 31-21. I thought the Nathaniel Hackett love fest was ridiculous, to be quite honest with you. You were a coach of one of the worst teams in NFL history last year. You were the head coach, Nathaniel, right? And just because somebody, Sean Payton, who is probably as arrogant as anybody, and that's okay, who's making $10+ million a year, said some horrible things about you, people supposed to be sad. Nathaniel Hackett won. How many other head coaches you know can have that performance and land the best offensive coordinator job in the NFL? Shocking to me. A game ball, okay, fine. But you would have thought they won the Super Bowl. Give me a break. That's probably why the Jets, I could throw a rock and hit the Jets practice facility when I grew up out in Long Island. But I thought that was weak, man. I thought that was real weak. You know? Your job is to win games. That's what you're supposed to do. I don't know if anybody else thought that way, but I did. It's just like when you dunk on somebody or you make a three-point shot. I mean, how many times have you seen Steph Curry just thoroughly embarrass somebody on the basketball court? And you would think that he's like having tea at the theater or something. You know, and every now and then he'll be emotional, but most of the time he's not. Why? Because he's supposed to do that. If I'm Nathaniel Hackett, I'm putting together the best offensive game plan I ever put together in my life. I'm talking Zach Wilson up to go out and play good football and do his job and solidify his career. That's what you're supposed to do. Nobody should be waiting for Aaron Rodgers to come back from a torn Achilles. Nobody should be waiting for that. Zach Wilson should be like, you know what? This is my opportunity. I'm going to do what I need to do to solidify my career. I remember when I played high school, college basketball. Hey, man, I never, ever, ever wanted any of my teammates to get hurt. Never. But if I remember I was a freshman or sophomore, I might not have been starting that game, whatever the case. Particularly when I was a freshman. If somebody got injured or something, I wasn't giggling. I wasn't happy. But I looked at it as an opportunity for me to show what I can do. Nobody should be waiting for Aaron Rodgers to come back. Zach Wilson should be like, you know what? I'm going to go Pat Mahomes. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this opportunity and show my head coach that I'm ready for this opportunity going into next year. So I don't know if that pissed anybody off. It really did upset me that they're in the locker room, and it's okay to give them a game ball, but to go college graduation night, I mean, come on, man. Didn't like that. Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow and the boys got back on track, 34-20 over the Cardinals, and I knew they would. I mean, Joe Burrow is good because he doesn't get bothered. He doesn't. If he's hurt, it doesn't matter. That dude's rock solid. And he's always going to be there. The Eagles, last year's Eagles is not this year's Eagles. I think a lot of times people want their teams to win, but they want them to win the way that they think they should win. And the Eagles are a different team this year. They are. I mean, they're not quite full offensively. Jalen Hurts isn't running as much, so he's not quite as dynamic as that quintessential dual threat quarterback. He's kind of hanging in the pocket, holding the ball probably a little too long. But they're still a good team. They're still winning. Every year is not the same. Maybe they will evolve more as the season gets closer to the end and they start to think about what the playoffs is going to look like. But, you know, Philly's good, man. Stop hating on Philly. Stop looking at Philly and saying, well, what's wrong with Philly? Nothing's wrong with them. 5-0. Now, I'll say this. They don't look like the 49ers. They don't. Miami, with all of their scoring ability, that would be interesting. I don't know if the 49ers play Miami this year. I don't know the schedule. But imagine Mike McDaniels, who probably knows Shanahan's offense as well as Shanahan does. Shanahan certainly knows that offense. So that would be an interesting game. It really would be to watch. Imagine if those two teams make the Super Bowl. Imagine all of those subplots. You got Mike Shanahan, Charles Potts, with a little voodoo doll sticking pins in Mike McDaniels. That was great. Those are two really talented teams. I forgot about that. Another thing kind of surprised me, and I'm gonna bounce around a little bit, in college football. I didn't see Oklahoma beating Texas. I know this is not like, people on the West Coast don't even like college football. They really do. I mean, they tolerate college football. I like college football. I mean, I watch it all day Saturday. I'm probably the most unproductive person during football season on the weekends because I watch it all. I watch college football. I obviously watch the NFL. When basketball's in effect, I watch that. I watch everything because I love sports. But I didn't see Oklahoma beating Texas. That was a terrible loss. It really was. And these powerhouses, the Texases of the world, the Notre Dame, the Ohio States, when those teams lose, it hurts a little more because of the commitment they make to their programs. They put so much money into these programs, so when they come up short, it really, really makes a difference. And Texas's athletic program is probably as large as any in the nation. They should not be losing Oklahoma. I don't think they should be. So I was a little surprised by that. I even stuck in a movie this weekend. I went and saw a movie that's called The Royal Hotel. And who said that independent films were dead? I thought they were. In this megaplex era of movie watching, all the independent movie people are closing down. But somehow, some way, this small independent film from Australia snuck into the theaters and is available for people to watch. And interesting concept. I thought it was pretty good. It's basically was shot in one location, and about two women who find themselves like in some type of oil mining town with not a lot of women around, and they were working at a bar and havoc ensued. Not the best movie I've ever seen, but it was pretty decent for an independent film. All right, so The Royal Hotel. If you're a moviegoer, you might want to check it out. Mark Gray said the 49ers were faster and stronger than the Cowboys tonight. And okay, what's the guy? I'm sorry. I'll put that up there. The 49ers play, what do you guys think about that? The 49ers play Cleveland, the Browns next week. I would think that would be a competitive game. Just based off Cleveland's commitment to the run, weather might be a factor. Deshaun hasn't played in a couple of weeks, so I don't know how he's going to play. I really don't. I would expect the 49ers to win. But it wouldn't surprise me if that game was competitive. I would expect it to be competitive. Not quite as competitive because Chubb is hurt now for the rest of the year. But I'm interested in seeing that matchup. I am. Just because of the contrasting styles. I also wanted to comment on Jonathan Taylor. I wrote this down a couple of days ago. Jonathan Taylor of the Colts, the running back out of Wisconsin, has played really good football in the past. There was a lot of angst between he and the Indianapolis Colts to the extent that I think that most people thought that there was a possibility that he would never play for the Colts again. Well, this weekend, when he came back to practice, at the end of the week, he signs a 3-year deal for $42 million, $26 million guaranteed. I like that. And I'm going to tell you why. We'll get Vicky in it. Vicky says, that could be a trap game. Yeah, and it's funny because John Lynch and Shanahan and some of those veterans, they are so meticulous and professional that they're all coaches. Some of the players are playing now, but they have coaching mindsets. I would be surprised if the 49ers came out flat and wasn't ready to play. What I would not be surprised about is if Cleveland came out like this was their Super Bowl. So sometimes in rare occasions, it's not that the best team is not ready to play. It's the underdog who comes out and plays out of their mind because that's their Super Bowl. And that would not surprise me. Also, Garrett, Garrett is a problem, and Garrett's going to be a real challenge for Trent Williams. So, who's check? The fullback chipping on Myles Garrett, keeping the running back in, going two tight ends. You're going to have to really block that guy. No one's blocked Myles Garrett all year. Nobody. So, he could potentially wreck the 49ers game plan by himself. That's how good he is. So, but I want to talk about Jonathan Taylor getting $26 million. Indianapolis long-term is not going anywhere without him or a star running back. And I want him to play up to his contract. But when I think about, now I didn't watch the Giants game, but I didn't see any highlights of Barkley, Saquon Barkley. I'm assuming Saquon didn't play. Can somebody validate that or tell me if he did play? I don't think he played. Does anybody know? Because I'm looking at the Giants, and you play Saquon because he's the best player on the team. They're not going to win without him. And if he's going to play, he has to play reckless abandon. He has to go out there not thinking about getting hurt. Just go out and play. Because invariably you will get hurt because it's football. But I think that if your future is taken care of and you've been paid, hey, man, you live and die with it. But when they start compartmentalizing positions about which position is more valuable than the next, that bothers me because it doesn't show up on the football field. Brian Daboll is the same coach who miraculously took this Giant team last year from being complete losers to a playoff team, winning a playoff game. He's the same coach. Same coach as he was last year. But the dynamics have changed. I think not paying Saquon, not having him in, well, he came to camp, but not giving him a long-term deal and some of these other organizations, I think it matters, man. But then again, I don't play fantasy football. I'm not trying to be a general manager. I'm just watching the game. And I think personally there's a reason why CMC, Christian McCaffrey, is out there doing whatever he can do to get the job done. He's a real football player anyway. He's making $16 million a year. You think he's not out there trying to live up to his contract? He certainly is. That's the worst thing to me, to have running backs take the loss because some smart bean counter said, you know what? we can do what KC did. We can draft a guy like Pacheco in the 6th or 7th round and have him go out there and play like a first-round draft pick. And we can pay him practically nothing. It doesn't work out for everybody. It doesn't. Even the Dallas Cowboys, right? They miss that. I mean, they miss Zeke. They do. Should they be paying Zeke 16, 17 million a year? No. I don't think so. But 8? Zeke brought more to Dallas than just his physical production, his blocking, his running. He was one of the team leaders. You know? So, when I look at the NFL, the most profitable of all of the sports entities, I don't think they should be worried about money. From a player's perspective, I don't think that owners should be concerned about how much money players are making, within reason, because they're making so much money. And I think that I talk about it a lot because I think it's a part of the game. Players have expressed that. You know, as I said before, it bothers me that Brock Purdy right now is not making $10 million a year. At least. His career could be over next week. And he would be, you know, the best footnote in the history of the 49ers history. One of the greatest stories in their history. Thank you, Vicky. Vicky says Purdy's making $800,000 a year. Does that bother anybody except me? It bothers me. It really does. This is year 2, not year 1. He's not a rookie. He is not the best player on the team, but he's the most important player on the team. 800 grand? Come on. I haven't got one comment about the Golden State Warriors besides Vicky. This is surprising to me. Or is this a love fest night for the 49ers? It was a good game. The 49ers killed them, but they're 5-0. We got 12 more games to go. You know, I expect them to play good football. But in the Shanahan-Lynch era, I would be surprised if internally they didn't feel this was a Super Bowl or bust year. As ridiculous as that sounds. Now maybe you can argue that if they get to the Super Bowl, they could rationalize this season being a success. But I'm not going to get all that excited about thrashing a Dallas Cowboys team that lost to Arizona when I know that they have bigger fish to fry. And their ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl. Yeah, Vic, I saw this. You said next week could be a trap game. I don't think it's going to be a trap game. I think it could be a game that's just tough. That division is tough. You know, the Cleveland Browns have a very tough defense. And they got grown men who can hurt you. And we really don't know about Deshaun Watson. We don't know. We don't know. He's played one game this season in which he's looked like Deshaun Watson. The other games has kind of been a facsimile of what Deshaun used to be. But we know he's capable. You know, we know that he has the ability to go out and play really, really good football. But we haven't seen the consistency yet from him. So maybe he'll come out next week and be on fire. And if that's the case, then he's going to help, you know, the Browns be formidable against the 49ers. But yeah, I can't wait till the NBA season because Steph Curry's out there last night looking like Steph Curry, in tremendous shape. He's 35 years old, folks. Doesn't look like he's 35 years old. Lifting threes, getting folks excited. That place was packed last night. It looked like it was packed to me watching on television. It's just a great show. Klay takes a lot of shots. I don't mind Klay taking a lot of shots. I just want him to make more of them. He shot 43% last year. And I guess the biggest hurdle with Klay is he healthy? And he looked healthy last night. And he made some shots. But to take as many shots as Klay shoots, you want him to be at least 46%. 46 to 48%. He's going to be a much more productive player shooting that clip as opposed to 43%. That's just not. He's taking too many shots to shoot 43% from the field. He doesn't go to the line, rarely ever. So I would be remiss if I didn't say the Las Vegas Aces got over on my New York Liberty today, 99-82. It's kind of pulled away from them, and I want to see that series go at least 4 games. 5 would be great, but at least 4. I mean, if the Liberty got swept by the Aces, it would devalue their season. Some, not a whole lot, but some. I want to see them be competitive. I mean, they were winning at halftime, so they can certainly play with the Aces. They beat them, I believe, 2 out of 3 times in the regular season. So, wasn't a great performance in the second half. The Aces got on top of them. They are the reigning champions. And we'll see. I wanted to mention that. Another nugget in college football that I love. I love how Alabama's playing football. I do. I love it. Once again, on Texas A&M, who had a good game plan and has a good team. Alabama took care of them 26-20. And people were licking their chops when Alabama lost to Texas. They were like, okay, this is the year that we're going to get Nick Saban. And had Nick Saban not got his quarterback back in the starting lineup, that might have happened, Monroe. But he said, no, I'm going to go with you, son. And we're going to play my style of football, which is just to go out and inflict your physical will to the opposition on both sides of the football. Play a NFL professional caliber style of football. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to win the game. The games are not blowout, but week by week, Alabama is showing you that you can win at a very, very high level without the best talent. It's by playing smart, conventional football. And that's what they're doing. And that really speaks to Nick Saban's greatness. Not necessarily when he has 5-star quarterbacks or defensive linemen who are third string, who could start for most other universities. It's the teams that he has like this. Now, he's leading defense. He has a really good defense. But his offense is okay. His offense is not great. But it doesn't matter because they play football the right way. And when we grew up as kids looking at, the Bo Schembechlers, and the Woody Hayes of the world, that's what Nick Saban is for these generations. It's great to be able to kind of watch it. And, I enjoy watching Alabama football. When they're on television, I tune in and love what they're doing. So I'm concerned about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, they beat Baltimore, a division opponent. They're 3-2, but watching Pittsburgh is like watching paint dry. It's not fun. It really isn't. And I know the goal is to win. Yeah, I get it. But it's not fun watching them play football. And they're Pittsburgh. I don't think that their fan base is going to be happy with a winning record. But I think at some point they're going to have to make a decision on whether or not they made a mistake about Kenny Pickett. Is he the guy? Can he be a legitimate starting quarterback in the NFL? This is year 2. He started last year. I don't think that they know anything more about him now than what they thought that they knew last year. Hasn't gotten any better. Really hasn't. So I'm concerned about that because I'm a big Mike Tomlin guy. But it takes time, I mean, I guess you got to give him the same time that you would give a Justin Fields and a Bryce Young. I am the biggest Bryce Young fan out there, and I didn't think that his transition to the professional ranks would be as tough as it is. But it's been hard. It's been very hard. Doesn't have a great offensive line. Doesn't have great receivers. The holes are small. And he's kind of waiting for these holes to open up, and they're not opening up. And these tremendous pass rushers are heating him up every week. It's a different game, man. And what is he? No way is he 190 pounds. I don't believe it. 175, 180, having guys who weigh 300 pounds all on you 10 times a game. I don't care if you do have $38 million. That's a tough way to make a living. You guys think Dak can turn this thing around? I mean, what do you think of Dak? I mean, I'm not even, I'm not a Cowboy fan. I'm a 49er supporter. But I am a Dak fan. But I'm starting to think that this could have happened for him. It's not going to happen in Dallas. And very disappointing. I thought the 49ers would win. But I wanted to see a competitive game, and I didn't see that. I didn't. So, that's all. Sacramento Kings lost to the Toronto Raptors tonight. And that means, 112 to 98. That means absolutely nothing. The Kings are going to be outstanding. And one of a top 5 team in the Western Conference. They were the 3rd seed last year. I think they'll be between 3 and 5 this year. I think they might be the 5th seed or the 4th seed and actually be a better team than they were last year. So I think gaining home court advantage, depending upon the opponent, is important. I guess it is important regardless of who they play. But I can see Sac dropping down to 5 and going up against the 4th seed. But I like their team. All right. I'm glad that we didn't come on and just wow, Vicky, that's a keen observation. Dak has never been the same since he got hurt. Yeah. And I'm going to say more mentally than anything. Remember when Dak's first 5 years, Dak would run the ball. He would take on blockers, take on defenders, and try to run them over. Dak don't run he doesn't. And, opposing defenses know this because they do film study. And that hurts the Cowboys because what do the linebackers do when they see Dak? They fake like they're going to rush, and then they slide into position to deflect the football or intercept it. Not that hard, because they already know he's not going to run. So that game was disappointing to me as a football fan. As a 49er supporter, I was very impressed. The best game I've ever seen Brock Purdy play. System manager, I think not. He looked like a star. He's spraying the football around to whomever was open. And it was beautiful to watch. really was. So, all right, that's gonna be it. I'm gonna be out of here. San Francisco 49ers improved to 5-0. Dallas Cowboys are now 4-2. You got any thoughts about some of the things I've talked about that you want to discuss further off air? Just hit me up at Big Frank Red on X, and I will respond. Or if you follow me, then you can use another method to contact me if you want. If you like the show and you are not yet a subscriber of the Dungeon Show, hit that button, hit the subscribe button, and you will become a subscriber. You will help the show and help the algorithm and all of that stuff. But beyond that, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And I'll probably do another show, maybe as early as tomorrow. I don't know, tomorrow or Tuesday. We'll have to do one on Thursday. And Vicky, you probably were anticipating me coming in here and talking about how smart I am because I picked Nebraska over Illinois. I don't get down like that. I actually watched the game on Friday, and I knew it would be a competitive game. And the only reason why I picked Nebraska is because they have a better defense. And Matt Rule is known as a program changer and an excellent defensive coach. So Nebraska's not great, but they do have a chance to win 7 games, I think. I think they can win 7 games and possibly make it to a bowl. But you know as much about sports, Vicky, as anybody who listens to the program. So, we can start another bet at another game anytime we want to. That's fun. Okay? All right. Success in getting paid is a manifestation of the whole process. If you as an individual don't do things to help other people make their lives better, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't done nothing. All right. I am Frank Red. This is the Dungeon Program. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.